All right, we are live. Hey everyone, I'm Rachel and Ngom. I equip and empower purpose-driven female entrepreneurs to increase their influence, income, and impact using Pinterest. I share my top strategies that have increased my blog traffic from 2,000 views per month to 36,000 viewers per month for free using Pinterest. And every week I'm interviewing just some amazing entrepreneurs who are going to share their tips and secrets with you to help you build your business so you can start to learn, to have fun, and we're going to get straight to the point. So today I have the honor of interviewing the gorgeous Nicoline Huizinga. Did I say that right? Okay.
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. It's a tricky one for me, but I got it. Okay. So she's worked for some kick-ass international businesses, has learned the tricks of the trade from world-class trainers and coaches. She's now a branding and content expert with a coaching twist. She's a self-willed wife, a humorous mom, a food and wine lover, yes, me too, and a human behavior connoisseur. She wants to live in a world where champagne breakfasts are served on a weekly basis. You girl, I get you. Everyone can be who she is at heart. People do the jobs they love and come home to families that support them. Children are growing up surrounded by love, education, and healthcare. She loves working with solopreneurs who are ready for a change but don't know how to start. People who are curious to learn new stuff, who love discovering new opportunities, who are a bit crazy now and again, but determined to make a huge difference in the world. She's helped numerous entrepreneurs become successful in their businesses by being visible, sharing their authentic stories, and attracting their ideal clients so they can thrive. Okay, so I just introduced you. So much fun. I love the champagne breakfast, and I can't agree more. But I'm sure there were some gaps in that introduction. So why don't you just fill in the gaps, tell us a little bit about you and your personal life.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for having me. And of course, my name is Nicoline Huizinga. You really pronounced that well. So many people
I did not
really
say it like how you just did. Oh my god.
Yeah, well, it's a Dutch way. It's the Dutch way. So I'm based in the Netherlands, about 40 kilometers from Amsterdam. And I've basically lived here all my life in this area as well. So I haven't traveled the world. I have traveled the world to just visit all kinds of awesome businesses. But I always loved coming home to the Netherlands. However, I really love to work internationally with so many people and cultures around the globe. I really love that. So many people, so many cultures, so many things to learn. So that's basically it. And I think you said it all, what I do and why I do it. So yeah.
So tell us about the different cultures that you're working with. So what kind of people, what kind of populations?
The funny thing is that it's, of course, we as the Dutch, we are known for being very blunt and being very direct. And I've worked a lot with the French, with the Swiss, with Belgians, with Germans, with Americans, with Chinese people, with Russians, with people from Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa. So many cultures, and there's so many differences in how you address people, what you say and what you do not say at all. And I'm fascinated by that. I'm really fascinated by that. Yeah.
I could not agree more. Something a lot of you guys probably don't know about me. I lived in Kenya for 6 months, and then I lived in Senegal for 6 months. That's where I met my husband, and then lived in France last year. So I think dealing with different cultures, that's like honestly one of the best educations you can get, because it's it's such a different lifestyle. Like Kenya, oh my goodness, like talk about culture shock and all those different things that I experienced when I was 20. But especially in business too, that must be really cool.
Yeah, it's so enriching. It's so enriching, and it's so good to know that the culture that you grow up in is not the way it should be done. Mm-hmm. It's not the only way. There are so many ways that how people communicate and how they connect with each other. I really love that. So
me too. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your sweet spot, your area of expertise, the thing that makes you stand out?
Yeah, well, what I do, I help solopreneurs to stand out in their markets by sharing their authentic stories, to find the story, to craft the story, to broadcast the story, and basically to tap into their authenticity. Mm-hmm. And authenticity is such a word these days because everyone talks about authenticity. So, and I think it's really important to find your own brand voice and not to copy anything. Just try to be you and be yourself. And I think that's the hardest thing to do for entrepreneurs these days. So what I did, I mean, I'm almost 50. I will be 50 next year. So I made a lifelong study of, well, how to be authentic. Because as a child, I always tried to fit in. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to fit in. And especially when you're in high school, you want to be part of a group, you know. And I think so many people, and I think it's a human longing, you want to belong, you want to fit in, you want to be part of a group, you want to be accepted. But the thing is, as an entrepreneur, you won't be successful if you try very hard to fit in. Absolutely. You need to stand out, you need to be a leader, and you need to step up to your game and just go do the things that you were made to do in this world. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what I do. And I studied, well, you know, human behavior. I worked for this great international company that does behavioral training. And so I studied training, coaching. I did numerous trainings on nonviolent communication, on persuasion, on personal mastery, personal development. So yeah, the human behavior, the whole concept of fear, of what's holding you back, and how you can really tap into your authenticity and how you can turn your flaws into your greatest power to stand out as an entrepreneur. So,
I love that. So yeah. I definitely resonate a lot with what you were talking about. When I started my first business, I was 23 and I was clueless. Like I had no idea what I was doing. And I was in a fitness business and I literally, like, I didn't have my own voice. I think I was like nervous or scared to like share my voice, my opinions, and put myself out there on social media. So I literally would like copy and paste some successful people in my business, and like that would be my social media updates or whatever. And it wasn't until I just decided like to put myself out there and to like be brave and be authentic that I started sharing from my heart and sharing the things that made me unique. And when I started doing that, I attracted so many more people to me. And like my social media following increased like by the thousands. Like I have over 100,000 people connected to me on social media right now. Wow. And that would not have happened if I would have kept trying to like fit in and copy the like successful people that I saw. And so like I basically made myself stand out as being like the fitness coach who still loves champagne and chocolate and wine. And like, I shared like those parts of me, like, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm a fitness coach, but I still love these things and you can still love those things and get results too. And that's like what really attracted people to me.
Yeah, exactly. And there will always be people who won't like you. And I think, especially as an entrepreneur, we are afraid of those people who won't like us. And in fact, I'm kind of happy when I meet people who say, I don't like what you do. And then say, okay, that's great. You know, that's great because you know what you like and what you don't like. That's a good thing. Good for you. And I can't serve everyone. I know that. So that's great. I'm cool with that.
Yes. I tell my clients, I'm like, attract and repel. So attract the people like who want to work with you and then repel the people who don't. So like I put like friends gifts in my emails because I'm obsessed with friends. And I think that's so funny. And the people who don't get my sense of humor, they'll be like, I hate this girl. And I'm like, all right, bye. Like, you're not my ideal person anyways. So if you don't get me for being me, like, peace out. I'd like have fun. Find someone else that you like jive with, I guess.
Yeah, so, it's true. It's true.
How do you find somebody, like, how do you help your clients find their voice and put their message out there?
Well, first of all, what I always start with, I have this formula that I work with for a thriving business, which consists of a number of concepts around talent, skill, focus, and what's holding you back. And that's about fear and perfectionism. And all these aspects are part of that formula. So we dive into that formula. And first of all, we look at your talent. What is your talent? What makes you unique? What comes to you effortlessly? And 9 out of 10, you don't have a clue about that because it's so natural to you. You don't see it as special. I have had so many clients who said, yeah, but everyone can do that, right? Everyone knows this. And whenever you think that, that's your talent.
Mm-hmm.
When you think, oh no, everyone knows that, that's your talent. So we dive into the talent, and then we look into the added value of the talent. Because being creative is very nice, but once you can really voice what creativity means to the other person, then it becomes really interesting. Because when I talk to a client and I say, yeah, I'm very creative, and the client says, yeah, great, yeah, next please. But when I can say, I see solutions for your business that you cannot see, and then you got them upright in their chairs and they're like, oh, wow, okay, tell me more about that. So it's really about the added value of your talent, knowing that added value and turning that into a great story that you can share either online or as a pitch or in a presentation or wherever. That's exactly what I do. So then we go through all these steps of the formula. So it's the talent, it's the skills, the added value, and it's the focus on what is it that you offer? What does that look like? And don't be all over the place, but focus on one very specific topic that you have to offer. Mm-hmm. And then look at what is holding you back. Because I have so many people as my clients who said, yeah, I see all these people online who are just boasting and are like, yeah, look at me, I'm so great. And I don't want to be like that. And especially introverts really hate that. They don't like being there, out there and showing every aspect of their lives on Instagram or other social media. And I really help them to find the way to show what makes them unique, what makes them authentic in a way that really suits them. So it should feel a little uncomfortable, mm-hmm. but not to such an extent that that it's not them anymore. So it needs to suit them, but it must be a bit out of their comfort zone. And then, awesome. Then great things happen.
Yeah, I think the first thing that you talked about, like not being aware of your special talent and not realizing, I know that's something that I struggled with too. When I started teaching Pinterest and social media, I thought everyone knew how to do this. And then when I started teaching it and people's minds were like blown by the things that I was teaching, I was like, not everyone knows how to do this. Like I have like a unique gift and talent that a lot of people need. And I a couple months ago, I didn't even realize like when I had the knowledge that I had was that special. And I was just like shocked when I started teaching and people were like, oh my gosh, Rachel, like I need to get you on my podcast. Like this is such good stuff. I'm like, okay, like validation that what I know and what I'm teaching, like it's really helping people. And I went through something similar with one of my clients. Like she was like, I don't think I'm going to get the same results because everyone knows how to do, and she's in the fitness space. And I'm like, no, not everyone knows what you know. Like not everyone knows the things that you do. And you have these really special gifts, and especially from being in the fitness industry for like 6 years, that most people don't know. And I think we get so used to like our own knowledge and just living our lives that we don't realize our own special gifts, right?
Yeah. And the thing is that we also focus on job titles and the things that we do at work, that we do not look at all the other things that we do. Because just the other day, I was talking to one of my friends, and she said, I would love this job as a project leader, but I am not a project leader. And this lady has been a single mom for like 15 years, and she raised 2 kids all by herself. And how is that not a project? I mean,
and she knows
and being a leader. I mean, she knows everything about budgeting. She knows everything about timing and planning. She knows everything about, the rules of the game and how you should comply. I mean, she knows everything. So she is a project leader. Yeah. So I told her, you are a project leader. And she said, oh my God, I never looked at it that way. Mm-hmm. I said, that's the way you should look at it. And I really want to encourage people to look beyond the job titles and to look beyond the things they do in the work space, because it's so important that you are a person, and whatever you do at home or as a hobby or whatever, it's all part of you. Mm-hmm. So it's really important to take that into consideration when looking at your talents.
Huge.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you tell us something that as entrepreneurs, like creating our own brand and our own unique identity and being authentic, that we should know, but we're just like not aware of?
Yeah, the funny thing is I always talk to my clients about their ideal clients. And I know so many exercises are out there to find your ideal client and to turn it into a persona, and really, a female between 30 and 35, single moms, whatever. And so often your ideal client is you, but 5 years back. Mm-hmm. So you are doing the things that you needed 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when you're struggling to find your ideal client, just think of who you were 5 years ago and what advice you needed, or the support or the tools or whatever you needed 5 years ago. That's a really helpful, simple exercise to go through, instead of creating a persona and diving all into all these aspects of where is my ideal client. You are your ideal client, but 5 years ago.
Cool. I like that. That simplifies things for sure for a lot of people, for sure. Let's talk about mindset and challenges. So you've done some pretty incredible things, in your life and your business, but as an entrepreneur, what was your biggest struggle when you were starting out?
Ooh, when I started, I was used to a typical kind of work, because I came from a corporate business. And I started at my own business, but I was used to doing certain tasks. And I felt it very hard to say goodbye to those familiar things that put money in the bank and start doing new things. Mm-hmm. So it was really hard to make the shift from, doing what I know into doing what I don't know yet. Mm-hmm. And perhaps I can make money with it. But it was all about, for a very long time, I hung on to the things that I knew. Mm-hmm. So it was all in the comfort zone. So I started my own business, but it wasn't it was in my comfort zone. It was really after quite a long time that I had the courage to do new things. Even though I didn't really master it, I just started to do it. But that took some time.
What's an example of something that you had to get the courage to do?
Well, I was a specialist at the time for sales proposals and presentations. But I didn't dare to call myself a pitch specialist. Because we had trainers who did that, and the coaches, and they were really focused on creating the right sales pitches. But then I heard so many people doing their sales pitch, and I thought, that's all crappy. I can do this a lot better. But coming from, a certain position, and then, you have this limitation of job titles mm-hmm. and things you did in the past. And then all of a sudden you think, no, I can do this better. Mm-hmm. I know I can. The only thing, I need to have evidence to show that I can do it. And then, just jump and do it and build your wings on the way down. And that's the biggest thing of being an entrepreneur, I think, to just start doing it and see what happens.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I could not agree more. That's my entire business is just basically jumping and then figuring out on the way. Literally, I feel like so much of the time I'm flying blinds, but I'm going to try this and see if it works. And then so many times my mind has been blown by what has happened when I do running a webinar, when I'm not a webinar expert, but on a 45-minute webinar, I made $1,000. And I was just okay, I got this. These things work. And so when you do those things that scare you, and then you start getting a taste of the results, you're okay, Like you start building that confidence, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you just need to start doing it. And the funny thing is, once you dare to jump, you feel the courage coming as a reward.
Yep.
And then your learning curve goes like this.
And you do it more and more. And you keep getting those results that are like, okay.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. And sometimes it sucks. And then you think, oh my God, I'm no good at all. But then you just keep going, keep doing it. And then you'll get the hang of it and you'll be fine.
Fail forward. Yes.
Yeah.
That's like my big motto for sure.
Yeah.
So what has been like an aha moment or like a breakthrough moment that you've had?
Oh, well, that's a very personal one. It's about, 3 years ago now when my brother-in-law, he had his own business and he almost went bankrupt. And then he got sick. He got cancer and he died at 49. But he left my sister with a huge debt because his business had not, it was almost broke. And then, my sister she was left with this huge debt and she didn't know what to do. And I started to write letters to all the creditors and just to ask for a meeting. So I wrote a letter. It was around Christmas time. I wrote the letter and I only asked, explaining the whole story because it was an awful story, and just explaining what happened and asking for a meeting. And the biggest creditor granted me a meeting. And so I sat there, and Rachel, I tell you, it was an amazing thing. I can still remember going into that boardroom of a huge bank, with a beautiful table and this beautiful view. I mean, it was on the 4th, 5th floor. It was amazing. And this carpet that you really sank into up to your ankles. And the guy was sitting there and he said, well, I read your letter and I had an awful Christmas because of you. So I said, well, I really hated that you had an awful Christmas, but at least I got your attention. And and then he said, I think I have some good news for you because we decided to agree to a settlement. And that means that within 3 years, your sister will be debt free. And then I thought, after speaking to that guy, I thought, oh my God, if he agrees to this, and he was the main creditor, I thought, I'm going to write to all the other creditors. And so I did. So I wrote the same letter, more or less, adjusted, tweaked some things. And all of them, out of the 17 creditors, 7 of them said, you know what, forget about the whole debt. What an awful story. It was really, it was amazing what happened. And the only thing I did, I wrote the letter, I explained the situation, and I asked for a meeting. I never asked for anything else. Mm-hmm. So the whole thing happened. And last summer, we were 3 years fast forward in time. My sister's now debt free. And she can move on with her life. But writing these letters, of course, it was a kind of therapeutical thing for me to do as well, because that was the only thing I could do to help. But it was such an aha moment because I wrote the letter straight from the heart. And the only thing I did, I asked for help. I asked for a meeting. That's the only thing I did. And I think that was the biggest aha moment, to think, all right, you need to be authentic. You really need to show your vulnerability and be willing to ask for help. And I think that was the biggest breakthrough that I had, because then I really started to connect with people on that level of really tapping into their personalities, into their vulnerabilities, into their flaws, into anything that makes a human unique. Mm-hmm. So that was my biggest breakthrough, I think. And it was of course, it was a very sad time, but so many great things happened after that. So I'm really grateful for that. That really made my business and me as a person.
first off, I'm sorry about that whole situation, because that must have been
Thank you.
really, really hard for your entire family. But another thing that kind of reminds me of is like a motto I live my entire life in business on is, if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I've gotten like interviews with people who I never thought they would say yes. Like in my eyes, they were like celebrity status. And I just asked and they said yes. Yeah. And I was like, huh, okay, what else can I ask for? Like, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So
exactly.
You always just ask, like, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah, you know, you've got nothing to lose. You've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I think that was a very powerful lesson, to really tap into your authenticity, to be real, you know, and just share your story from the heart, and people will connect to you as a person.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main lesson in business. People want to do business with people.
Yes.
And so they want to get to know you. They want to, and you know, you what you shared about your thing with friends. I mean, people will love it or they hate it, and that's fine. But they want to get to know you as a person. Yes. I don't want to. I mean, I can't connect to a brand like Coca-Cola or whatever. I mean, it's not a person. It's just a brand. And especially for solopreneurs, you are the business. So you need to connect to the clients and to the people around you. I think that's the most important thing.
Huge. Yeah. Yes. By being open, being vulnerable, sharing your truth, sharing your story, sharing just little things about yourself, your family, those little things that people can connect with you and relate to you and make them want to do business with you eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Okay. What is one trait or habit you think every entrepreneur should have to be unstoppable?
Oh, only one?
Maybe two.
Only one. Well, I think it's really important to know that your mistakes are your biggest assets. The mistakes that you make are lessons that you learn, and those lessons can be passed on to your audience. The only thing is, we're not used to talking about our mistakes because we feel a lot of shame about our mistakes. While I think it's really important to share those mistakes. And the other thing is that you shouldn't take yourself so seriously. Take your business seriously, but don't take yourself so seriously. I mean, make fun of yourself sometimes and just be able to laugh at yourself and think, oh my God, what am I doing here? You know, that's so important. Take your business seriously, but don't take yourself so seriously.
That makes me think, is that Ferris Bueller? Have you seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off? It's an old American movie from like the 80s. Where he said, is it that movie? No, wait. I'm totally mixing up my movies. But if you take yourself too seriously, you'll never get out alive. Yeah. Not Ferris Bueller. I cannot think of it, though.
No, I don't know. I can't.
I'll think of it as soon as we get off, and then I'll post it. Because right now I'm like,
let's do that.
On. Yeah. Ryan Reynolds is the actor, and I cannot think of it. Oh my God.
We need to.
That's gonna drive me crazy. That's gonna drive me crazy.
Well, we need to look that up.
I will. Okay. Talk to us about your business model. So, how are you monetizing in your business right now?
Well, you know, obviously, I do a lot of one-on-one coaching and a lot of sessions, either online or live. I started doing groups as well, small groups, I must say 5-6 people. And in January, I will be launching my online program, but I will always add some one-on-one coaching in it because, you know, it's so important to have this one-on-one connection. So that's the way I do it.
That's awesome. And I agree. Yeah. I feel like I love my doing one-on-one coaching, and I don't think I'll ever be able to stop just because I love having that like personal connection and investment in my clients. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, you know, and the very best moment is when you talk about the people's talents, and then you talk about the added value, and then you see everything click. And then they're like, but that is what I have to offer. That is my added value. And then you see the eyes starting to sparkle, and then you feel, oh yeah, now I know. I love that moment. I love that moment. So that's why I really love doing one-on-ones.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about like your team. Do you have a team right now, or is it just you?
Well, it is me, but I really know how to outsource things to the people around me, because, you know, when it comes to admin stuff, I have someone for that. I have a designer. You know, I have all kinds of people around me. So I think it's very important as an entrepreneur, especially as a solopreneur, to know what you're good at and what you're definitely not good at.
Yes.
Outsource that. Please do. Please,
yes.
Because once you start outsourcing what you're not good at, you can spend so much more time on things that you are good at, and that will make you money.
Yes.
So, and then you can afford to outsource the stuff that you're not good at.
So, I agree so much. I've had a virtual assistant for like 4 years, and it's been such a game changer. And it was only a couple months ago I caught myself trying to learn how to use Photoshop to like make image mock-ups. And I was about to rip my hair out trying to figure this out for like 2 hours. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, outsource this, Rachel. Come on. I'm like, this is not my zone of genius. Like, let me find somebody else to do this.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really important to really take that decision and to be honest with yourself. You know, as a solopreneur, you want to be doing everything. I mean, that's the reason why you started. But it's so important to really know, okay, this is something I shouldn't be spending my time on. So I want to focus on no, you know, and so choose your talent and really go with that. I think that's the most important thing.
Huge. How are you currently using social media for your business?
Sorry, how?
How are you using social media for your business?
I am using it all the time. I mean, I'm all over the place. And I love, well, I am on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. I must say I'm not on Pinterest. I should talk to you about that.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God,
girl, you're not on Pinterest. Okay, yeah, we gotta talk.
We're gonna talk about that.
We're gonna talk because there's a lot that you can do.
Yeah, well, I would love to learn more. But I do a lot on these platforms, especially on LinkedIn. That's a huge platform for me, and that works really well. I work with a scheduling system, so I have my content library, so it shares content all the time. So I'm visible practically everywhere. And I know it doesn't really work so well with all the famous algorithms on LinkedIn and Facebook, etc. But you know, I'm there, and it works. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, let's do some rapid fire questions. So one sentence or less.
Yes.
Right. What do you enjoy most about being an entrepreneur?
The freedom.
Yes. Hallelujah.
The freedom to make your own choices.
Hallelujah. What is the most challenging part about being an entrepreneur? Being alone.
Alone. It can be lonely sometimes. Yes. So it's important to create a network around you.
Yes, I agree. I started teaching at the local gym just because I needed to like be around people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, especially when you do a lot on the internet, you know, then it can get lonely sometimes. So it's important to have people around you.
Agreed. What is one go-to resource or tool that allows you to be a high performer?
Oh, what helped me really, really well was Robin Sharma. The program that he offers, it's about personal mastery. Okay. The Personal Mastery Academy, to be exact. Okay. I mean, that was really a game changer. That was really good because he talks a lot about personal leadership, and it really gets you to another level. So
I've never heard of that program. So
really,
you'll have to look me up. I know. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, he's great. I think he's based in Switzerland.
Okay.
But he's an American. He's an American guy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to put the links in the video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Yeah.
One piece of advice for someone looking to level up their business and have a greater impact.
Don't copy what everyone else is doing. I mean, I see so many people say, yeah, you should have a mail funnel. Yeah, you should do webinars. Yeah, you should do challenges. And if it doesn't really suit you as a person, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't copy. Just feel what suits you, what matches with your personality. Start doing that.
Yes. Okay. Best book you've read?
Oh, well, that's a tricky one. If the people out there have little ones around, cover the ears, because the title is a bit tricky. It's a book by Mark Manson, and it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I really love that because it's all about, that he says, the fucks that we give, what people think about us, and it's an amazing book. It's a great book. I love it.
I have it on my Audible, so I'm going to have to listen to it now.
You have to.
I've had it for like a year. I don't know why.
Wow. Oh, but you should read it. It's amazing. It's an amazing book.
Okay. To wrap up, why don't you tell everybody what's latest and greatest in your business and where we can connect with you?
Well, as I said, in January, I will be launching my Talent to Turnover program, which is basically all about, how you could turn your talent into money in the bank. And that will be launched in January, and people can find me at www.personalize.nl. And if you want, you can download a guide with tips and tricks to create a killer pitch and really nail that at your next networking event. So feel free to connect with me there.
That's awesome. All right. I'll make sure to send me all the links and I'll put them in the video.
Yes.
So people can connect with you.
Absolutely.
And in an hour and a half, I have a webinar. So that is on Pinterest and how to use Pinterest to take your business to the next level. You should jump on.
Yes.
So just go to rachelandngom.com/webinar so you don't miss that.
Excellent.
Nicoline, it's been so much fun chatting with you. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, and I appreciate you and look forward to getting to know you better.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay, we're done streaming.
Excellent.